Hey, good morning, guys. It's Tush coming at you. It's Monday, April the 14th, and it's about coming up to 11 o'clock in the morning. First day of vacation, and it's kind of a gray day, but at least it's pretty warm out. It's about 15 degrees Celsius at the moment. It's getting close to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The only problem is this drops off. I think it goes up to a high of 19 degrees Celsius today, later in the afternoon, which is about getting close to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we've got a sharp decline overnight, and it drops back down to below 0 degrees Celsius, so -1 Celsius, which is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So we've got a huge swing in temperatures over the next few hours. We're actually even calling for snow tomorrow, so I'm not looking forward to that. So I'm just kind of out in the garage trying to figure out what I want to do. It's obviously going to be too cold to do anything on the car as far as painting is concerned. So I think what we'll do is we'll work on our spring projects for the TR6. We will get it up on jack stands. I know it needs an oil change at the very least. Usually what I do in the spring is I'll always top up my differential or check my differential fluids, check my tranny fluids, check the fasteners under the car just to make sure they're all tight, including the front suspension. We may even, if we feel up to it, we may even take the half shafts out and give them a good grease up. They haven't been done since the car was restored, so I'm sure it's could be due. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll come back later once we get her up on stands. Talk to you later. So I've had a lot of guys ask me how I go about putting my TR6 up on the stands, and what I start off with is I've got these Rhino ramps. I think they're 11,000 pound rated plastic ramps. So usually I put the car up on ramps at the front, and then I'll move to the back, and I've actually got a pair of identical floor jacks that I use, and I'll put one jack per each side. You can see the blue Michelin jacks there. I'll have to dust those suckers off, but usually what I do is I put one on each side, and I'll pump one side a little bit, and then I'll move to the other side to keep it fairly even as far as from side to side. So what I'll do when I get it up is I'll throw some jack stands under. I'll show you the position of the jack stands where I put them afterwards. And generally I'll use probably at a minimum 6 jack stands, plus I'll leave the ramps in as well just in case there's any issues. So anyway, maybe I'll take a shot of how I have it up on stands once I get there. Okay guys, we're back, and the car is up on stands, as you can see. So what I do is I keep the ramps under the front of the car, and I just lift the car up a slight bit more so I can get under the front of the car but you can see where the stands are placed at the front of the car. I throw a couple of stands in the middle of the car. I throw a couple of stands at the rear of the car. And go out here. And I always keep the jacks in position at the rear of the car as well. So just in case, you never know. Better to be safe than sorry. So that's what I do. Not necessarily what you should do, but that's what I do. One of the first questions I had when I had a TR6 was, you know, where do I jack it up and where do I put the stands? So that's basically what I do. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to get under there, and we're going to do the first project, which is changing the oil. So I've got a new filter here, and made in the UK, cross-on filter. And generally I save these. I have a cat, and I buy my litter in these disposable jugs, and they're good for draining the oil. I have one of the large round oil pans, but the problem is with the stand so narrow in the front of the car, you can't get that big round oil pan in there. So that old cat litter jug does the trick. Catches all of the oil, and it's fairly high, so you can position the spout fairly easily. I just usually throw a funnel in the neck of the jug, and it seems to do a pretty good job of catching the oil. It's not too much mess afterwards. So that's what I do. Anyway, we'll get on to that, and we'll move on to the next project. See you in a bit. Incidentally, it's getting really, really windy out. I was just looking at the news, and they've got wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers an hour, so that's 50 miles an hour. So yeah, there's some major wind gusts blowing through here. I shut one of the garage doors because the garage was filling up with old leaves, old dried leaves. So got just the one garage door open for now, and may have to shut that if I get lots more dust and leaves blowing in here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, it's definitely an omen of things to come. Talk to you later. I don't know if I showed you this wrench before, but it's sort of a purpose-built wrench for the Triumph series of cars. The larger end is for all of the square plugs for the differential, for the oil pan, for the transmission, and the other one is for the brake adjusters for the rear brakes. So anyway, it's a good tool to have for if you're changing the oil quite frequently, which I do. You're guaranteed not to strip the nut with this. Anyway, just a quick shot of that. We're under. So we got it all set up. There's the old filter that's got to be changed. There's the clutch slave. And look, a little drop of oil. What a surprise. Under a Triumph. Anyway, it didn't look too bad under here. Anyway, we'll get that drain plug out and we will drain that oil. Okay, well, the oil is draining. I'm just going to let it sit and drain for a while. I actually don't have the oil to put back in it at the moment. Not like I'm going to be driving it in the near future anyway, so I've got to go out and get some more oil. So generally what I use for the engine is the Valvoline VR1 2050, which has enough zinc in it for flat tappets. The next thing I'm going to do is check the transmission fluid. I've got a J-type overdrive in mine, so in mine I use a 30 weight non-detergent motor oil in the transmission with the J-type overdrive. And then for the differential, this is GL4. This is a no-name labeled bottle that I buy from the Roadster factory. GL4 is a little bit difficult to find, so I ordered that. And you can see it's a little dusty. It's been on the shelf for a little while, but generally what I do for the diff is I throw it into a pump oil can, and I'll just stick that tip in the fill slot for the diff, and I'll try to show it to you when I'm under the car. And basically pump until it comes out the same hole that you're pumping it into. As long as the car is level, that's supposed to be the level of the diff. So I generally do that a couple times a year. Like I said, the seals on my diff are a little leaky. They were replaced when the car was done 7 years ago, and since then have started to leak again. So some free rust proofing for the rear of the car. Makes a nice smell when it hits the stainless steel exhaust. Anyway, that's what the plan is for today. And I think what we'll do is we'll probably go to the diff next, and we'll get that done, and we'll take a look at the transmission after that. So we'll fill that squeeze can up there with some GL4, and we'll go take a look at the rear diff. Alright, it's a little tight under here, but here's what we're going for. I don't know if you can see that or not. That square-headed nut, or plug I guess you want to call it, on the side of the differential, that is the fill plug for the differential. And like I said, as long as the car is level, that is also the fill indicator line. When the fluid starts, where the gear oil starts running out of the hole, and then it's at the proper level. So anyway, it's a little difficult on the later cars that have the dual pipe exhaust, because the exhaust pipe tends to get in the way a little bit of getting a wrench up there. The earlier cars had a single pipe, and it might be a little easier to get to that plug, but anyway, that's what we're after. So I've got my wrenches under here with me, and we'll attempt to get that plug out. Alright, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but that's my basic setup for getting the GL4 into the differential. I've got that oil can with the flexible spout, and I just fit it up through the pipes and into the fill hole on the side of the diff, and I'll just squeeze on the trigger until that, like I said, until that fluid, the gear oil, runs out of the side of the diff, and then I know it's full, and then we put the plug back in. So that's what I'm going to do. Just thought I'd give you a shot of that. Well, it started to rain a little bit outside, and it was definitely getting colder out. I guess there's a cold front coming in. Anyway, so the differential's done. The drain plug is back in tight. I've just put the drain plug back in the sump for the oil pan. I put the oil filter on and just tightened it by hand, as tight as I could, and I gave it a little twist with the oil filter wrench, so hopefully that'll be tight enough. we'll have to give it another check once we get the oil in there. So what we're going to do now is I've just swapped out the gear oil, the GL4 that was in the pump can. I've just swapped it out for the 30 weight non-detergent for the transmission, so we're going to go under there and give that a check. Same procedure, one hole to fill it till it comes out the fill hole. Some guys use GL4 in the gearbox, some guys use 2050, some guys use Redline products, so yeah, that's up for debate and I'm not going to get into it, but for my J-type overdrive I've decided to go with the 30 weight non-detergent and I've had no issues with it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do now. I'll get under there and maybe I'll take a little video where that fill plug is. Talk to you later. Alright, we're back under the car on the driver's side, and just wanted to show you where the location for the transmission fill plug is. You can see it here just on the side of the casing for the transmission. The fill plug is obviously right there. Both same size plugs. You always want to make sure that if you are going to be working on the transmission and you plan on draining the oil from the transmission, make sure you can get the fill plug out before you go ahead and take the drain plug out. Some guys have had major issues getting that plug out, rounding it off and such. So I would definitely do the fill plug before you do the drain plug, or you'll be in trouble. Anyway, so we'll remove that drain plug. Again, we've changed over to the 30 weight non-detergent in the pump can, and we'll fill it until it runs out the same hole. One other note, that wrench, although that specialized wrench, although it fits on these, it's a little difficult to use that because of that rib on the side of the transmission case, so it's better just, or I find it better anyway, just use a 7/16 open-ended wrench. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, the drain plug's out. I had it in there pretty tight, so I had to reef on it pretty good. I'm not sure, maybe I was feeling strong that day when I put it in the last time. Anyway, we'll put it in a little less tight this time. Anyway, we'll get the squeeze can out and we'll fill that up. And when it runs out onto your face, it's full. Just a note. Hey guys, back from the oil run. Went to my local parts store and picked up a case of the Valvoline VR1 2050. That's what I run in the TR6. And I run it specifically because this has the levels of zinc and phosphorus that I want for an older flat tappet engine. The modern oils don't have the levels of zinc and phosphorus in them anymore. They were removed because of they were damaging the catalytic converters. So you either have a choice of running something that's still got the zinc and phosphorus in it, or you can do an additive. I think there's one on the market called ZDDP Plus that you can add to a conventional motor oil, like the old I used to run the GTX 2050 with the additive. So either way is fine. I just prefer to go with the VR1 right off the bat. Like I said, it's a little bit more expensive option, but it seems to be working okay for me, so I'm going to stick with that. So I've got a couple liters in there already that I had left over from the last oil change, so probably it'll take about another 3.5 or 4, so with the filter change. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Hey guys, just Tush coming back at you. It's getting pretty close to 5 o'clock, and I think we're done for today. So we've got the oil and filter changed out, we've got the transmission fluid checked and topped off, we've got the diff fluid checked and topped off. Did a visual inspection below the car, everything looks okay. Probably get under there again tomorrow and just do a quick check on some fasteners and make sure everything's cool down there. I think what we'll do tomorrow is we'll pull off these rear tires and we'll maybe do a little video on adjusting the handbrake. This is it's working fine, although I'm on to my last ratchet basically to pull it up. So we could probably use a little adjustment on that one. So that means both rear tires have got to come off, and we'll play around with the compensators on the left and right side. What else are we going to do? We'll take a look at the U-joints tomorrow and see if they need to be greased. Were done last year, I believe, so they should be okay, but we'll take a quick look. I think the ball joints were done, the rack was done, so and we'll just do a quick visual inspection on that kind of stuff too. And I think that'll be about it for now. Just needs a good bath, that's for sure. Hasn't been washed since last year, and it's been out in the rain a few times, just sitting in the driveway, so it's got lots of water spots on it. At some point we'll have to take the hard top off. That'll be a little ways into the future. We'll run with the hard top probably till June, and then we'll switch to the soft top. I think that's about it for now. We'll try to get out here tomorrow in the garage. We'll see how cold it is. Like I said, it's supposed to be below freezing tomorrow, and we're supposed to get some snow overnight. So hopefully it'll be warm enough to be out in the garage tomorrow. If not, find some other things to do. I know I've got to get the oil changed on this guy, on my daily driver. So I won't be doing that though. I'll be taking that to the Nissan dealer. And still have a problem with this truck. I'm not sure if I mentioned to you guys I have a transmission fluid leak, so at some point I'm going to have to get under the truck and figure out what's going on with that. That'll be a project for when it's a little cold, a little warmer and a little drier. So that's it for today, guys. We'll upload this and we'll get back out here hopefully tomorrow. Talk to you later.